Almost time crash. We'll get started, all right? All right, as we normally do, give the Lord a hand. Priest and officer of 5,000, Shalai Yahweh. Hold the class down today for Captain Zakar. Of course, we all know today is Brotherhood class. As we always explain, Brotherhood is synonymous with sisterhood. So when we speak of Brotherhood and teach on Brotherhood, we're also speaking in a manner in which sisters are to conduct themselves as well. You understand? We all know that brotherhood is definitely something that's important, something that's imperative, something that's lacking, something that's missing. All right. If you see it in the news, I didn't read the full article, but I seen something where Cardi B was donating some schools or something over in Africa. You understand? I seen she was donating some schools over there and or something to that effect, donating something over there in Nigeria. to where I believe it was, somewhere in the millions or something like that, over in Nigeria. You understand? Now she's a so-called Dominican woman from the Bronx, with Dominican Republic and the Bronx absolutely destroyed. Everybody knows that, especially right here in New York City. The Bronx is absolutely destroyed. It's plagued with violence. It's plagued with drugs. That's the side of New York City that they don't want to put on the media. It's not a good tourist site, you understand? And we all know it's disgusting and destroyed. We all know Santo Domingo, which is a city within the Dominican Republic, and the entire Dominican Republic is horrible. Besides the resorts and everything that people go to have vacations, so on and so on, within the cities, within the barrios, it's absolutely destroyed. We all know that. And she decided to skip over those two places, to skip over the Dominican Republic, skip over the Bronx, not spend millions of dollars to rebuild schools or start a charter school or help save those little girls that she's turned into little hoes with, F me and get some money and all the rest of this garbage that she's spewing out to our people. Instead of helping them, she went over to Africa to help a nation of people that more than likely hate her guts and look at her as just another nigger whore over here in America. Right. You understand? Now, of course, the class is not about that, but just to bring that out as something that is just an example of a lack of sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? Absolute lack of sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? She don't care about her people. She hates her people, obviously. You understand? So, as I was saying, when we speak about brotherhood, we speak about sisterhood as well. You understand? And how we need to conduct ourselves in a certain manner. And us being brothers and sisters, we're all going to go through hard times, especially when you come into the truth. And not just coming to the truth, just being a part of the 12 tribes of Israel, we face a lot of hard times, a lot of turmoil. A lot of things that we face are internal as well. You know what I'm saying? We could go through a lot of problems to where we have certain problems, where we're suffering from anxiety. We can suffer from depression. We can be manic depressives. We can become schizophrenics. We can, suffer a lot of different mental illnesses and a lot of different emotional turmoil, which will have us down and out. Sometimes people can just be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and just start crying about something they might have went through or something they're thinking about, or something that hasn't even happened yet. They think it's going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? So there's situations in our life that can come and can try to just destroy us. You understand? Destroy us emotionally, destroy us spiritually, and that's every day, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They're spiritual. You understand? And we have to learn how to fight these things, these spiritual things that come against us. Fight these demons that come on us. You understand what I'm saying? And it's hard to do, but it's not impossible to do. Now, these scriptures are full of things that we can practice and things that we can live to try to fight off and ward off whatever spirits that might be trying to destroy us, spirits that might make us want to worry, that might make us angry to the point where we sin, that might make us greedy, make us lustful, make us spew things out of our mouths when we know it's not right. You understand? There's a lot of things that these situations in our life can make us do and make us carry ourselves in a certain kind of way. You understand? So one thing we have to practice is being content, right? To be content in the situation that we're in. Now, the word content can be highly dangerous, because being content, someone can take me saying, we need to just be content in our situation, which means you need to sit and be satisfied with whatever situation you're in. You understand? To not want more, to not do better. That's not the consent the content that I'm talking about. Not the content to where you shouldn't want more, and that you shouldn't want to be ambitious, and that you shouldn't have zeal and have drive in your life. That's not the content that I'm speaking about. The content that I'm speaking about is we should be content, meaning we should be unworried, unbothered, unwavered in whatever situation we may be in. You understand? And us being content, which means being unworried or unbothered, unwavering, unmoved is one way of being content is to not be just satisfied with what we got, but to have trust, right? We have to learn how to have trust in what we have to have trust in the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what the hell is how to do with brotherhood? In us learning how to conduct ourselves in an unwavering and unworried manner, it can be an example of someone who's watching us, namely children, right? If I'm worried and I'm moved and I'm discombobulated because of bills, and I'm going off and I'm losing my mind, I'm talking, I'm going crazy, and my child is watching me do that, then what is that going to make my child do when their time comes and things are bothering them? It's going to make them not have a spirit of being content, of being unwavering, of not being moved by a situation, right? So our actions and how we handle situations, how we take on situations and battle situations is not just for us, but it's for the people who are watching us. It's for the people that we want to come into the truth. We want people to come into the truth and come in here and learn these scriptures and learn their heritage. They're not going to believe us if we're not conducting ourselves in an unwavering manner, in a strong manner. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be women that come up against sisters that got a man that has more than one woman. They're gonna say, well, she's stupid and dumb and slow and got low self-esteem and so forth and so on, which it is the total opposite. You understand what I'm saying? But if a woman sees that a woman is wavered or moved by that, well, it's not encouraging her to do what you're dealing with because you obviously got a problem. You know what I'm saying? So we have to conduct ourselves in a certain kind of way. So this is what I mean by being content in our situation. Does not mean do not be ambitious, do not want more. But in the situations that we're in, we can know this. Situations can be very, very, very bad and a lot worse than what we're going through. You understand? That's why in the scriptures, you can't put away your wife when you get a new wife and so forth and so on. Because why? Because that shows that a brother's not content with the woman that he chose to be with. You understand? So we have to learn how to be content in a lot of different situations. We have to be content within our marriage. What I mean by content? Unworried, unwavering. You understand what I'm saying? We have to be able to be in a marriage that might be rocky or might be going through the regular trials and tribulations that any other relationship go through, and learn how to be content. Learn how to say, well, this is my man and this is my woman. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to be content with each other. We're going to be satisfied with each other. You understand what I'm saying? We're not going to be wavered or moved to sin. For me to leave her alone, she's going to leave me alone, and so forth and so on. We have to be content within this brotherhood. You understand what I'm saying? We have to learn how to be content within this brotherhood. What I mean by being content, not being jealous of your brother shows that you're content, that you're unworried about your situation, that you're unwavered in your situation. You understand? We don't have to be in the UPK. We're not jealous of no brothers, not jealous of other brothers. Why? Because we're content in our situation.
Right.
We're content. I'm content with my spiritual gift. That brother's content with his spiritual gift. You understand what I'm saying? We're not it's not a competition thing, it's not a hateful thing, it's not something where we have to try to pull another brother down and so forth and so on. So one thing I wanted to go into is learning and knowing how to be content and what being content really is. Being content doesn't mean sit and mope and just drown and settle for less. You understand? To settle for less, just to say, you know what? Well, hey, look, I'm overweight. I'm just gonna stay overweight because If be motivated if you want to lose weight, if you want to better yourself, be motivated to do it. Be ambitious to do it. You understand what I'm saying? That's not the consent I mean. Consent does not mean to be a sluggard. It doesn't mean to be lazy. It doesn't mean not to have zeal. Let's go to the definition of consent. You know, I like to do that. Let's see what the definition of consent means. Let's see what some synonyms for consent is, and let's go into the scriptures, go over a few stories and go over a few things of some situations to where brothers was content in their situation. Content, excuse me. If I said consent, Salakia, I mean content. You understand? We're going to go into some scriptures, show situations where our ancestors were very content in situations where others were very worried or would be worried nowadays. You understand? Let's go into it.
Content in a state of peaceful happiness.
In a state of peaceful happiness. Is it more?
One more card. Satisfied.
Satisfied.
A state of satisfaction.
A state of satisfaction. Go ahead. Are there any words there that are synonyms? Read some of the words.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment. Go ahead.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Cheerfulness.
Cheerfulness. Now, we cheerful, that's a big word. You understand? In Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, it says when afflictions come upon us, I'm paraphrasing, but when hard times come on us, we should be cheerful about those hard times. You understand? Cheerful is another word for content. We should be cheerful when hard times come on us, and these things that are uncomfortable to us, these things that can make us somewhat discombobulated, disoriented, we should be cheerful when these things come upon us. You understand? Go ahead. What else?
Gratification. Comfort.
Comfort. Go ahead.
Ease.
Ease.
Well-being.
Ease is another good word. You understand? To be at ease. And that's something that we have to learn how to be, because a lot of people do things out of sin because they're not at ease. You understand? They're not at ease. Some people look in the mirror and they're not content with what they see in the mirror. You understand? And they're not content with it, not because they think they shouldn't be content with it, but from what society says they should be content, that allows them to be content. There's a young girl out there that might be absolutely beautiful and dark skinned,
right,
but society might say light skin is better. Right. So she's not content. Not that she is not content, but society says she shouldn't be content. You understand? Please, I think, I don't know what's in there. There's some water or something there. You understand what I'm saying? There's more words.
Serenity. Tranquility. And complacency.
You understand? These are some good words. You understand what I'm saying? Cheerful was a very good word. Guys, cheerful was a very good word. You know what I'm saying? I know when I looked it up before, they have words like unworried. You know what I'm saying? Unbothered. You know, so this is a characteristic that we have to learn how to take on. That does not mean to be a sluggard. That does not mean to not be ambitious. It does not mean that. But it does mean whatever cards the Lord deals you with, be content with it. Right. Don't worry about it. If you want better, then go ahead and do better. Right. But don't worry about it. Don't be a worrier. Because if you worry a lot, then you have absolutely no trust. And you can only be content if you have trust inside of you. What kind of trust? Trust in the Lord. What they call that? They call it faith. You understand? And your faith can be addictive. Your faith can be, it can cause a domino effect, not just for yourself, but for your loved one, for your child, for the person who hates your guts. It could be something that they look at and say, you know what, damn. You know, I don't like her, but the way she handled that situation, I do like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, these are things that we just have to learn how to take on, especially in our households. Right. There's a lot of worry going on in our households. A lot of uncheerfulness going on in the household. You know, that wicked, disgusting, filthy Christmas is coming up soon. It's going to be a lot of brothers kicked out of the house. Right. It's going to be a lot of brothers up off that couch. There's going to be a lot of brothers that's going to come home and the top lock is on. Right. Yeah, we know about that top lock, right? That top lock going to be on. Right. That's when you're real mad. You know what I'm saying? That top lock is on. Now you got to sit there and knock for a half an hour when they hear you knocking. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through that because it's Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? It's Christmas time now. You know, that top locks is gonna be on now. You understand? Because it's wicked and disgusting. And when that Christmas season comes around, you're gonna see a lot of people that are not content in their situations, that are very worried about the people right now plotting and scheming on women coming out the mall.
Right.
And what they're gonna do when a woman comes to the mall, they're gonna knock the women out and take their bags.
Right.
That is a full-fledged absolute scheme that brothers do. Why? Because they're not content in their situations, and the people around them make them not content in their situations. So when this time comes, they get worried.
Right.
They get worried about being put out in the cold. They get worried about these things. But if they have some contentment within that house, they wouldn't have to worry about a goddamn thing like that. You don't have to worry about that. You understand? Now, of course, I don't want to talk too much. I like to go into the scriptures and pull as many scriptures as I can for brothers and sisters try to follow along, all right? Let's see where we can start at. Let's go to Philippians. Let's go to the book of Philippians. All right? Go to the book of Philippians, try to get there with you. Go to the book of Philippians. Let's start at verse 11. Let's start at verse 11 real quick. We're going to go Philippians chapter 4, verse 11.
Come on, Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, wherewith to be content.
To be what?
Content.
To be what?
Content.
This is Paul speaking. Paul said, not that I speak in want for everything or want for things, but he's learned. He's learned that no matter what state he's in, no matter what situation he's in, he's learned to be content in his situation. Does that mean Paul don't want to be in that situation? Does that mean Paul wants to elevate out of the situation? No, I don't mean he don't want to do that, but he's learned to be content. Anybody in UPK, we keep the Day of Atonement.
Right.
You don't eat all day. You're going to learn how to be content in your starvation. You're going to learn.
Right.
You're going to learn to be content in your hunger. Does that mean you don't want to eat? Does that mean you're never going to eat again? No, that don't mean that. But in your affliction, in your pain, in your hunger, in your suffering, in your want for more, you're going to learn to be content with it.
Right.
You're going to be unworried and unwavered and unmoved. You're not going to get discombobulated or disoriented or depressed or any of these things. They're not going to fall upon you. You understand? You know when you go through that Day of Atonement, you know that when that hunger pain is hitting you, you know it's a demon.
Right.
So when you're going through that affliction and it's telling you something you know you don't got no goddamn business doing, when it's telling you to say something you know you got no goddamn business saying, you should know that's a demon too. You should know that when you're going through that affliction, that demon's making you want to do something too. The same way you know when you're hungry and you get that hunger pain, you know it's a demon messing with you. You know it's something that's making you want to go against the Lord. So the same way that demon's messing with you when you're hungry, when you're doing something or you're going through something else that's an affliction, you should know that you want to cuss this person out. You want to do something to this person. You want to react to this person. You don't want to forgive this person. You want to hate this person. You know that's a demon messing with you.
Right.
Because you're afflicted in this situation now, just like you were afflicted when you're hungry. So you should know that that's a demon messing with you. And you have to learn to be content in your affliction. That don't mean you don't want to get out your affliction. That don't mean you're going to mellow in it and drown in it and swim in it and live in it. It doesn't mean that. It does not mean that. But what it does mean is you're going to trust that the Lord will get you through this, right? So when you're going through that Day of Atonement, you're supposed to wash your face and oil yourself up and not look hungry.
Right.
Not look like you're starving. Not look like you. If people go through a Day of Atonement, oh man, God, 6 more minutes. Right. 6 more minutes. I can give me a big ass piece of pizza or something. They gotta go through all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Looking like there's a problem. Looking like, the scriptures say when you fast, don't even let nobody know you're fasting. Right. Don't even let nobody you're going through that. It's the same goddamn thing when you're going through whatever you're going through now. That don't mean don't get counsel or nothing on your problems. You understand? But trust that you'll eat again. What do I mean by that? Trust that you'll get out of this affliction. You'll get out of this problem. Be content. Calm it down and bring it down a notch. Right. Calm down. You'll get out of this. Right. When you would go through that Day of Atonement, did you eat again? Right. You ate again. And everything you said you wanted to eat, you didn't eat. But you made it through. It's the same thing with any other affliction you're going through. Right? The scripture said the Lord won't give you more than you can handle. Right? So if the Lord won't give you more than you can handle, how dare you not be content in your situation? How dare you be worried in your situation? How dare you be able to be moved in your situation or thrown off in your situation? How dare you? When the Most High said he wouldn't give you nothing that you couldn't handle. You understand? Read the scripture again.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want.
Not that I'm speaking in respect of want. I don't want a goddamn thing. Read.
For I have learned.
I what?
Learn.
How do you learn? You learn through these scriptures. Precept upon precept, line upon line. You learn from the men above you. You learn from the ones that have way more winters than you do. Right? That's how you learn. For you out there that think you plugged up to the matrix, like you just going to get this knowledge by staring at the goddamn moon or something special. Is somebody knocking at that door? No? You think you're just going to get this knowledge through, meditation or some other garbage? You have to come and you have to learn these scriptures. Right. You understand what I'm saying? It does, right? Check that door for me, my brother. You got to learn these scriptures. You understand? Brother's gonna pick it up. Somebody out there? All right, no sweat. All right, no sweat. Good job. Shamar is to watch. You know what I'm saying? No sign Christ. Let's pick it up one more time. Let's read it one more time, all right?
Philippians chapter 4, verse 11.
Right.
Not that I speak in respect of want. For I have learned. In whatsoever state I am, wherewith to be content.
To be what?
Content.
Be content. Keep going.
Verse 12. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound.
I know how to be abased, and I know how to be abound. Now you know what we got to do, right? Says you can do it too if you want. Now you got the good phone over there. We got to look at the definition of abased and abound. Let's check it out. Check it out with you. All right? Let's look up a base first. You know what? Let me read it. Look up abound. I got a base. Now this is what they say one of the definitions is. Behave in a way that belittle or degrade someone. Of course, we're not speaking about that. But one of the synonym words is to be humble. You understand? To be humble. That's what a base means. So a base in this case means I know how to be a base, which means I know how to be humble. Now, what does abound mean?
Abound exist in large numbers or amounts. Thrive, flourish.
Thrive, flourish.
Abundant.
To move on. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to be humble and I learned how to move on. You understand what I'm saying? Let's read it again.
Verse 12. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry.
Paul said, I know how to be full and I know how to be hungry. He knows how to have and not to have. You understand? He knows how to have and not to have, which means what? Paul is in the mind state of being content. What's up, little man? Wrap it up. Y'all that's right, little man. You understand? Paul's saying he knows how to be content in every situation. Right. You understand? He knows how to be full. He knows how to be hungry. He knows how to have. He knows how not to have. And this is the same type of spirit we have to take on.
Right.
That we have to have. Why? Because people are going to see us in our stages of not having. People are going to see how you handle that situation. And when they see how strong and powerful you are in that situation that might drive other people crazy, they're going to see, damn, I should handle that situation like that. Do you know that us as Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, slave Americans, we go through things that the oppressor jumped off of buildings for?
Right.
You understand? You know, we live with our lights cut off.
Right.
We live eating noodles. We live through these things. Do you know that the oppressor goes home and kills the whole family if their lights is off?
Right.
They kill their daughter. They kill her and kill the kids and kill the sons and then kill their wife and then kill themselves because the bill can't get paid. You understand? That's minor. Imagine if they was enslaved and then lynched and burned and raped and then murdered by police unjustly and then be full of AIDS and full of crack and full of coke and full of dope and full of heroin and full of hatred for a brother and a sister and full of gang violence and full of abortions and imagine being full of that. They wouldn't even exist no more. You know, because they would kill each other. They would kill themselves and jump off buildings and jump off bridges.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And go find a bridge and jump off of a bridge. You understand? We don't jump off bridges. We just go to prison for the rest of our lives.
Right.
Right? And sit in solitary confinement and all of that. You understand? This is our strength. You know, so we found a way to be content in this wicked society that we live in now.
Right.
You understand? And what does that mean? Should we bow down to society? No, we should keep on pushing. You understand? We should keep on pushing and keep striving for our identity and regain our royalty through this truth. That's what we should do. You understand? And Paul's saying he knows how to be with and he knows how to be without. Keep reading.
Both to abound and to suffer need.
I'm sorry, where you at?
And then verse 12, sir.
Okay, read it one more time.
Both to abound and to suffer need.
And to suffer need. This is Paul speaking. You understand? Paul speaking. Now let's read verse 13, which is a classic. Christians love that.
Right.
They don't read the rest of the beginning of the chapter. They read this one little piece of 13. Read.
Verse 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
Which does what?
Strengtheneth me.
Which agrees with me.
Strengtheneth me.
You understand? You can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. What all things can you do? Learn to be content in your goddamn situation.
Right.
Learn how to be unworried and unbothered and unwavering. Learn how to stand strong and stand firm. You understand? Why? Because people are watching you. How do we know? We're reading how Paul was strong, how Paul can do with or do without. We're reading it thousands of years later, just from Paul taking the action he took thousands of years ago Now we sit in this classroom right now reading about it. Well, why don't you let somebody read about you? Why don't we let somebody read about us years from now and thousands of years from now if Christ don't return? Christ will return, but what I mean is until Christ returns. Why don't we let somebody read about us? And it can happen. But guess what? America says it can't happen. The society that we live in that beats us down into powder and beats us down to dust, it injects in us doubt.
Right.
It injects in us worry, anxiety. You understand? Sometimes you just got to not give a damn.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to not give a damn. There's a right to not give a damn.
Right.
You understand? Whatever. You understand? I know back in the day, it was just on the left hand side. I used to my favorite word was whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? You want to go do this? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Everything was whatever with me. I was down for damn near whatever. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this. We have to learn to be content, just like Paul is saying right here.
Right.
You understand? Let's go to Daniel chapter 3 real quick. Let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel chapter 3. I got a lot of scripts. I want to talk too much. Let's go to Daniel chapter 3 real quick. Hold on a second here. For time's sake, we're just going to cut it up. Let's go to Daniel chapter 3, and let's start at verse 12.
Come on, cut to.
Make sure when you do, make sure everybody got it, all right?
Come on, cut to. Daniel chapter 3, verse 12. Or Aqua have it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
All right, now you can stop that right there. I'm gonna break it down real quick. Check that door real quick for me. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all right? Now Nebuchadnezzar built some golden calf. He wants everybody to bow down to it, and so forth and so on. These brothers refuse to bow down to it. You understand? These brothers refuse to bow down to it. So, Shaul, you can come on. Akim, y'all too wild. All right? Everything's too wild. You understand? And good to see you too. Shalom. Right? Just so y'all can catch up. We in Daniel chapter 3. We started at verse 12. All right? So we in Daniel chapter 3, verse 12. Before y'all came in, we read Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. Just in case y'all want to, jot down notification. All right, we're speaking about learning how to be content in our situations. You know what I'm saying? In our afflictions that we go through, learn how to be content. You know what I'm saying? Of course, just to reiterate a little bit, of course, content don't mean to be a sluggard, to be lazy, or not zealous or ambitious to get more. But being content in this context means to not worry. You know what I'm saying? To not be easily moved. Not to be full of depression and sorrow and self-pity and so forth and so on. You understand what I'm saying? So that's pretty much the topic we're going through. Just to reiterate, we went over Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. And right now we're in the book of Daniel, chapter 3, we start at verse 12. All right. So right now it's my Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These three Akim, they was dealing with Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonian captivity. They built some golden calf, and they wanted Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego to bend down to it. I know A lot of you are probably familiar with this story. This is a very popular story in the scriptures. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we're reading right now. I want you to read Daniel chapter 3, verse 12 one more time. All right?
Oh, God, so Daniel chapter 3, verse 12. Or after the Bible, there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
So these brothers had some, you know, a little bit of pull in this captivity. They had a little bit of, you know, a little something. It was, you know, had some political seat. Right? Go ahead.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Go ahead.
These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy God.
They don't serve your God. Go ahead.
Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Now this is someone giving a report to Nebuchadnezzar saying, these three dudes, these three Jews, these three niggas, they don't serve, they're not listening.
Right.
They don't serve the God you serve, they're not serving the golden calf. I mean, these niggas got positions, you know what I'm saying? And they're not serving. You know what I'm saying? This is the opposite of Cardi B.
Right.
This is the opposite of what's the boy's name? Michael Jordan,
right.
Oprah, Tyler Perry, and the rest of that Shaq, the rest of this garbage out here. This is the Kanye West. How could I forget the silver bullet? You know what I'm saying? This is the opposite of them. You know what I'm saying? These brothers refuse to bow down. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
You understand? So Nebuchadnezzar was pissed off. Right? The king, the so-called king, was pissed off. Like, they're not listening to me. Right. Well, you bring them here. You know what I'm saying? Bring them in front of me. Keep going.
Verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true?
Is it true? Oprah. Michael, you know what I'm saying? Is this true? After I gave you your seat, your political seat, and your power, is this true that you're not going to worship white Jesus? You're not going to worship the golden calf that I invented and made up after all I did for you? Keep going.
O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
You're not gonna bow down to this after all I done did for you. Keep going.
Verse 15. Now, if he be ready, that at what time he hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music. He fall down and worship the image which I have made.
And when you hear the music, you're not going to bow down to the image I made. So when you hear that, you're not going to pledge allegiance.
Right.
You're not going to pledge allegiance to the flag when they play whatever that garbage is they play at the arenas. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. With Whitney Houston and all of them famous for singing. With the Star Spangled Banner or whatever that garbage is. When you hear that, Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, when you hear that garbage, you're not going to bow down to the image that I made. This goes on right now today. This goes on right now today. That they won't bow down to white Jesus. They're not. He's asking, you're not going to bow down to white Jesus. You're not going to worship the flag that I made when the music plays, when the trumpets, red glare, and all that garbage. You're not going to bow down to that. Keep going.
Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
If you don't want to bow down, then I'm gonna cast you in the fiery furnace, Colin Kaepernick. I'm gonna bet you're gonna have to go to the fiery furnace then. Right? You're gonna go to the fiery furnace then. This same thing goes on to this day. To this day, right here, right now. These scriptures is realer than anybody says. I don't give a goddamn what a Muslim say, or Egyptologist, or Christian, or anybody. These scriptures is all the way real. This thing goes on today. Right? This thing goes on today. Well, let's see how these brothers handle it. Go ahead.
And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand?
Who the hell is what's the Yahweh? What's the Yahweh, Barak Yahweh? What is that? What does that mean? Who's Yahweh Shah? They're going to protect you from me? Keep going.
Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, We are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
We are not careful to answer thee in this manner. What does that mean? This is crazy. What does that mean? We are not careful. We are not careful to answer you in this manner.
Basically, it sounds like he's saying that I'm not going to watch what I say to you. Like, right. I'm not going to have any restraint over my next answer.
So in other words, I'm not. Hold on, get a brother chest. Go ahead.
You don't give a flying F.
He don't give a flying.
How you feel?
Right. You're absolutely right. But what's the word though? When you don't give a flying and all of that, and you don't care, that means you're not. Come on. We want to know what a word says. Worried. He's not worried. He ain't worried enough to answer your question. Whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna do it.
Right.
You understand? See, that's the same amount of gall that these celebrities should have, but they don't have that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that. Little man right here got more balls than Shaq.
Right.
You understand? Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? You got the Shaq, and the rest of them sellout suckers. You understand?
Right.
They said, I'm not even worried about even answering you. Isn't that disrespectful? I know in the street, somebody talking, you be like, yo, man, part of my back. Huh? You give me your back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That means I'm not even worried about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what these brothers are saying. I'm not even worried about you. What's the point? We'll get to it. Keep going.
Well, verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace.
Even if you put us in that fiery furnace, our God will save us out of that fiery furnace. This means they have trust. We brought that word up earlier before your brothers came.
Right.
In order to be content in your situation, you have to have trust. And these brothers are being threatened to be thrown in the fiery furnace, and they are content. They're content in their situation. Now you got a problem at your goddamn job, and you're not content. You're worried about it.
Right.
You got a bill that's not coming, and that's coming, and you can't pay it, and you're worried about it. You understand what I'm saying? These brothers are about to be thrown into a fiery furnace,
Right.
and they are content in this situation. Well, guess what? Every day you're thrown into a fiery furnace. Every single day. Every single day. When you step out, you are Black, Hispanic, Native American man, woman, or child, every day you're going to be thrown into a fire furnace. Why? Because there's 75,000 sisters missing.
Right.
There's 2 million brothers in prison. I don't even know the number of sisters in prison. There's brothers and sisters being kidnapped, raped, and murdered, and imprisoned at the borders. Every day is a fiery furnace for us. Well, guess what? Our ancestors went through was going to go to a fiery furnace, and they were content with going through it. Right?
Right.
Let's keep going.
And he will deliver us out of thine hand.
Right.
O king.
Yeah, the hell with you. Our king will deliver us out of this. Excuse me, our God will deliver us out of this, O king.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Our God will deliver us out of it. They had so much trust in the Lord that they was content in their situation. They facing death.
Right.
Absolute death. That's just imagine you on death row, and they walking you to the electric chair. They're walking you to get your lethal injection, and you say, "Look, they ain't gonna do nothing to me." You know what I'm saying? My king God, I'm telling you, my God is gonna save me out of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you this. And walk there content. You understand? As you're walking down that path, walking down that tier to go to the electric chair, and other inmates see how content you are, what's that going to make them do? What's it going to make them do? It's going to make them believe in what? It's going to make them believe in the God that you serve. Because white Jesus ain't doing it.
Right. That's right.
Allah it's not doing it. So as you walk into that chair content with going to face your death, they're going to say, well, damn. I think I need to serve his God. You know what I'm saying? I think I need to serve his God because this brother is together. You know what I'm saying? He's walking down there. He's walking to get fried. He's walking down there to die. And he is content, talking good noise. My king gonna say, man, this ain't nothing. I ain't worried about you. What is this? Fiery furnace. That's gonna make other brothers that's gotta go to that fiery furnace. It's gonna make them very confident. Not only is it gonna make them confident, it'll bring them into the truth. It'll make them believe. They might have disagreed with you all the time, but when they see how content you are to go to that fiery furnace, that's gonna make them change.
Right.
That's brotherhood. You understand? When you going through something and how you handle it, it makes the people around you, no matter if they agree with you, disagree with you, fought with you, how you handle your situation as you walking down that tier to go face your death, and how you handle it so well, it does something to them. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what this is all about. But you can't have brotherhood and want to fish people into the truth and change people's lives if you're not content.
Right.
If you don't have no trust, if you're a worrier, if you got anxiety and depression and sorrow and self-pity and all the rest of the filth and garbage that comes along with living in society, you understand? Let's keep reading.
So on comes to verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy God, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Yeah, I ain't serving none of that. That's not happening. All the images you set it up, I'm not serving it. We might as well move forward with the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
So on come verse 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury.
Full of what?
Fury.
Full of what?
Fury.
When a black man don't bow down to white Jesus, they're full of what?
Fury.
When you don't want to commit or compromise in society, you're what? Full of what?
Fury.
They get full of fury. They're upset. When you're content in your situation, they get full of what?
Fury.
They get full of fury. When you're content, when you trust in the Lord, when you're not worried about their consequences, right? But at slavery, they do that. Hey, one more time you're late, and we might have to write you up.
Right.
And you're gonna get one more write up, and you're terminated. Right. And they want you to go, oh shit, boss man. Yabba dabba do. They want you to do all of that.
Right.
Whatever, man. If I can make it on time, I'll be on time. You know what I'm saying? Not saying don't do that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying go in your slaves like, you know what? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. You know, do your job, be on time, do your job. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is they use different tactics. You know what I'm saying? They use different tactics to make you worried.
Right.
You understand? If you got Section 8, every other letter you get is you can face we're gonna kick you out the program if you don't do this. You're like, God damn, every letter I get is about kicking me out. I gotta go down some service, I gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do that, and they always threatening you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, hey, because why? Because they expect you to worry. Right? Because worrying gets people to what? Do what you want. That's why when women kick men out the house, why? Because they know this thing ain't got nowhere to go. They think that man's gonna worry. And then maybe to change him. You understand? That's a white man tactic.
Right.
That's an oppressor. That's an oppressive tactic to use. Why? Because landlords use that. The government uses that. Taskmasters use that. You understand? That's what we cannot use that against our people. We can't do that.
Right.
You understand that? We cannot do that.
Right.
But guess what? When you're not content and you're a worrier and you got an anxiety problem, you tend to take on characteristics of the oppressor. You understand? This is why we got high divorce rates and so forth and so on. You understand? Let's keep reading.
But God, in the form of his visage, has changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah, verse what?
19, sir.
Oh, go ahead, Slocky.
Start up against.
No, keep going.
Come on, come to it. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated.
Now they want to turn up even. They're going to turn the heat up even more for these brothers not bowing down. They want to turn the heat up even more. Go ahead.
So verse 20. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
Not just the average man, but the most mighty of men. To shackle these brothers up and throw them in the furnace. Throw them in there. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then these men were bound in their coats.
In their what?
Coats.
Go ahead.
Their hosen. And their hats. And their other garments.
They fully clothed these men. Go ahead.
And were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Now, if you got these clothes on, you would do. It's gonna burn your clothes, and it's gonna melt your skin before the fire even get there. It's gonna be even more painful. Right. So they turned it up 7 more times. One 7 more times. You know what I'm saying? 7 more times, and fully clothed them, so the clothes can just melt on their body. Keep going.
Verse 22. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Those mighty men, the mighty men that tied up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and tied them up and put their coats on them and shackled them up to bring them to the fire furnace. The fire was so hot, it killed them. It killed them. You understand what I'm saying? It killed them. I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that as we keep going these scriptures. I want you to remember that fire killed them. They was taking them to get killed, and the fire killed them. Keep going.
So verse 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bowed into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. They
bowed down to the midst of what?
The midst of the fiery, midst of the burning fiery furnace.
In the midst of it. That means in the middle of the fire. It was in the middle of the fire. Keep going.
Verse 24. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astounded.
He was a what?
Astounded.
He was astounded. Read it again. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astounded.
Go ahead.
And rose up in the haste.
He rose up fast. Go ahead.
And spake. And said unto his counselors. Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Didn't we put 3 men in here? We put 3 men in the middle of that fire. We put 3 men in the middle of that affliction.
Right.
Did it say that they cried out? Did it say that they was depressed? That they was sad? That they wanted out of there? And the scripture didn't say none of that. It says that they went into the middle of the fire. And what's his name? Nebuchadnezzar looked in and saw, wait, wasn't there 3 of them?
Right.
There's 3. We put 3 people in a fire that was turned up 7 times more than it should have been turned up, and killed the men that was taking them to the fire.
Right.
They standing in the middle of that fire.
Right.
Keep going.
They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. Verse 25. He answered and said, No, I see 4 men loose.
I see what?
4 men loose.
I see how many?
4 men loose.
Go ahead.
Walking in the midst of the fire.
I see 4 men in the middle of that fire. Go ahead.
And they have no hurt.
They're not even in pain. Go ahead.
And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Like who?
The Son of God.
The 4th is like who?
The Son of God.
Oh man, was that an angel in there walking with them in the middle of their fire that they was content to go into? Hey, watch that right down there. Watch that down there, brother. Sloppy. Here, all right. You understand? In the middle of that fire that they was content to go to, that they wasn't worried about going through. In the middle of that fire, there was a 4th person in the form of the Son of God. You understand that? In the form of the Son of God. Keep going.
Verse 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants.
He what?
Ye servants.
He what?
Ye servants
Go ahead.
of the Most High God.
He said, this is the brother who built a golden calf, who said when you hear the music, you're supposed to bow down to the image. He said what?
Ye servants of the Most High God.
Of the who?
Most High God.
What happened to the golden image? He's seen. Right. He's seen how these brothers was content in the middle of that fire. He's seen how these brothers would not bow down or bend or break or get depressed or have sorrow or complain or nothing. He's seen how these brothers bowed down together in brotherhood. How they bowed down together and went through that fiery furnace together. He's seen it. How they was content. You understand? In the middle of a fire. He didn't hear, ah! He didn't hear none of that.
Right.
A fire? You touch the iron, you go, ah!
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know it's hot.
Right.
In the middle of a fire turned up 7 times for them to be melted quickly. They stood strong. They stood in contentment.
Right.
They stood unworried, unbothered, unwavered, unmoved. In the middle of a goddamn fire. Who the hell are we not to be content in our situation? It ain't like we're standing in the middle of a fire.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Who are we not to be content or unbothered or unworried in our situation? Now, does that mean that they didn't want to get out of the fire? That doesn't mean they didn't want to get out the fire. I'm sure they wanted to get out the fire, you know what I'm saying? And go and just be regular and live their life, you know what I'm saying? But while they was in that fire, they handled their goddamn business. You understand? They handled their business. And more importantly, they made it through the fire. Why? Because they trusted in the Most High God. And they made somebody who was building a golden calf say, oh, servants of the Most High God. How you are content in the middle of your fire could make somebody say the same goddamn thing. You understand? It could make your brother or your sister say the same damn thing, how you handled it. Keep reading.
And one time, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire.
So where you at?
This is the end of verse 26.
Okay, stop. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power.
Had no what?
Power.
That affliction had what?
No power.
The problems they was just going through had what?
No power.
Everything that most people would be sorry about, that would be depressed about, that would cry and complain about, with these brothers who trusted in the Lord, it had what?
No power.
It had no power. Keep going.
Nor as in here. Nor was in here. Or their heads sing. Neither were their coats changed.
Their what?
Neither were their coats changed.
Remember we read earlier, they put coats and hats and everything on. Their coats didn't even burn. Their coats didn't even burn. Keep reading.
Nor the smell of fire had passed on.
They didn't even smell like they went through a goddamn problem.
Right.
They didn't even smell like it. They didn't look like it. And they just came out of the goddamn fire. Right. That's being content. You understand? That's being content in your situation. That doesn't mean you don't want to get out of it. Right. That doesn't mean don't be ambitious. That doesn't mean don't be zealous. That doesn't mean be a sluggard. What that means is trust in the Lord. What you're going through, you can get out of it. What you're going through could be worse. Right. You know what I'm saying? Could be a lot worse. But whatever you're going through, you can get out of it if you trust in the Lord. And then you trusting in the Lord and being content in your situation, that can influence a nigga worshiping a golden calf to call your God the Most High God.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Say it again.
Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. You understand?
Right.
Yeah. Blessed be the God of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. The Most High God, Yahweh. You understand?
Right.
Blessed be Him. You understand? Blessed be Him. What happened to the golden calf with the music just not too long ago?
Right.
You understand? What happened to that? But see, the contentment of these brothers in that fire, that can change your life, brother. You understand what I'm saying? It can change your life. And that's why we have to conduct ourselves in a certain manner, even when we're going through something. See, that's why we got brotherhood. You understand what I'm saying? That's why we got that's why we have brotherhood to get through these afflictions. These brothers went through this fire together. One of them could have said, I'll bow down, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't. They all stuck together.
Right.
You understand? And that's what we got to do. We all got to go ahead and just bend down together. You know what I'm saying? Go through the fire together. You go through it, I go through it. We go through it. You understand what I'm saying? And then going through it, we'll be content. We're not even going to complain about going through it. I know y'all know that. Y'all been friends for years. And I know y'all been through plenty of fires together. And y'all sitting right here together now.
Right.
No different from these brothers right here. You know what I'm saying? Sitting here untouched. You know what I'm saying? Untouched. Don't even smell the affliction. You understand what I'm saying? Let's keep reading.
Who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they may not serve nor worship any God except their own God.
They said, look, you can serve your God. You don't even want no trouble with you, no problem with you. You understand? All because of their contentment through that fire. You understand? All through that contentment through their fire, brother. All because of that. And that's the power you hold. That's the power we hold. And that's how we have to conduct ourselves as brothers and sisters. To conduct ourselves in that manner.
Right.
To be unbothered. You understand? To be unbothered, absolutely. Because when being bothered and not being content in a situation, it leads to selling drugs. It leads to murder. It leads to robbing. You know what I'm saying? It leads to that. It leads to jealousy and envy and strife. Ultimately, it leads to sin, and ultimately, it leads to death. You understand what I'm saying? So our contentment in that fire, it can save a lot of lives. It can save more lives than bumping your gums. You know what I'm saying? It can save more lives than bumping your goddamn gums.
Right.
Trying to talk somebody into the truth. You know what I'm saying? Trying to talk to them. You already say actions speak louder than words, but their actions spoke a lot louder than their words. But what they said was, we ain't worried about even answering you. That's what they said. That's pretty much the only thing they said. You know what I'm saying? And their actions proved that the Most High God was a force to be reckoned with. And their trust in the Lord and their contentment in this situation showed and proved that. And it showed and proved it to everybody. You understand? I think there's more now. Let's keep reading.
Verse 29. Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort.
This is Nebuchadnezzar who's speaking. You know what I'm saying? He's saying now, anybody who speaks against, it went from, if you don't bow down to my golden calf and bow down when I play that music, you're going to die. Now, anybody speaks about against the God of Meshach, you're going to die now.
Right.
Now you're going to die, you speak about this God. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, that's the power you got now. You understand what I'm saying? You want your brother to start serving that rock, Allah, you know what I'm saying? You got to be content in your fiery furnace. I got to be content in mine. And so I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying us as a people. You understand? Because our actions speak a lot louder than our words.
Right.
You understand? Our actions speak a lot louder than our words. Sisters got to do the same goddamn thing.
That's right.
You understand?
Right.
Sisters got to do the same thing. You got to stay strong in your fiery furnace. You know what I'm saying? And staying strong in your fiery furnace, guess what? It'll get your husband to do what you want him to do.
Right.
Just a little secret. You know what I'm saying? Just a slight say, I am a man, you know what I'm saying? Just a little secret, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Your calmness, you know what I'm saying? It'll sure make a nigga do what you want him to do. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all know that for a fact.
Right.
You understand? So that's why we have to be absolutely content in the middle of our fire. You understand? Be content. That don't mean don't want more, don't want it to change and everything else, but your contentment will change the situation.
Right.
All right? We're going to drop that. We're going to move forward, all right? Y'all got something you want to say or something y'all want to add, sis? You good? Hey, this brother's pizza back there. I don't know if y'all want some pizza or something, sis. Is that 12, right? If y'all want some pizza or something back there, I'll get busy. All right? Don't sit there, be, huh?
What's the chapter and verse for Philippians?
It's chapter 4 and verses 11 through 13, I believe. Yeah.
Wow.
11 through 13. No sweat. No sweat, all right? So we're going to keep moving on. Go to some more scriptures. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeah, let's go to 1 Timothy. Let's go to 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy, and we're going to go to chapter 6. 1 Timothy chapter 6, and we'll start at let's start at verse 6.
Go on, come.
Let one of the troopers read. One of y'all troopers, y'all pick it up, all right? If that's too loud, all right? Appreciate it.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
You understand? Well, you know what? Let's hold on. Go to let's start verse 5. Salaki, brother.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds.
Uh-huh.
And
destitute
of the truth.
Uh-huh.
Supposing that gain is godliness.
Now, a lot of brothers think that gain is godliness. You know what I'm saying? They all into materials. Like the Christian pastor. You know what I'm saying? Local drug dealer. You know, pimps, so on and so on. Average person in the world. The so-called person with a good job, you know, the education. All they think gain is godliness. Gain is everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is speaking about this is going into like materials. You understand? They think gain is godliness. I got me a degree. I got a BH, PH, BMA, BA degree. You know? Yeah. Not knocking anybody out there, man. Get your degrees. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know, down here with the common folks. You know, we just like to make a little poke a little fun. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they got the whole, you know, thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Which is good. You know, so which is absolutely excellent. You know what I'm saying? Until you feel like you're better than somebody, and you think that because you have that you're close to godliness. You understand what I'm saying? Let's keep reading.
From such withdraw thyself.
Yeah, withdraw yourself from them. What does that mean? That don't mean you got to stay away from them, but you keep yourself away from that type of attitude. Don't think you cute because you got a little something. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you got a little something. in a month or so, everybody about to get cute. And them little bit of taxes roll through. They're gonna claim they had a household, get a couple of $1,000. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get cute. You know what I'm saying? They about to get real cute. You know what I'm saying? So, don't get cute. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these certain little materialistic things. You know what I'm saying? Christians do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Muslims do that. Mostly Christians, but Muslims do that. You know what I'm saying? Egyptologists and all of these suckers, they do that. But children of God don't do that. Why? Because we go through trials and tribulations. We go through pain. And we find pleasure in pain. We find contentment in pain. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
But godliness with contentment is great gain. Whatever you get. You work at ShopRite. And your job is to get the carts out of the parking lot. That's a hard job. I don't care what nobody said. They deserve $30 an hour to be out there in the rain, sleet, and thick snow collecting shopping carts. That deserves some pay, because I just know. You know what I'm saying? That's good. You know what I'm saying? You just see a cart way down to the people like, I'm not going to damn that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, look, that's just to me. They deserve a hell of a lot of pay. But whatever you get, if you got contentment with that, if you say, you know what, I'm going to make the best out of what I got. Right? I mean, the best out of what I got. That doesn't mean you don't want more or you don't want to get more, but you are making the best out of what it is you have right now. That's worth more than any millions or whatever degrees, anything else. That's greatness. That's greatness. You understand? A brother that makes $1 million a year and he pays tithes, that's easy to do. But a brother that collects bottles and sheetrock and scrap metal all week long and make $100 a week, for him to pay tithes and donations out of that, that's a hell of a sacrifice. That's a hell of a sacrifice. It's easy to give it when you got it. You understand? But when you don't got it, can you give the same? You hear me? You understand? So that's greatness. Let's keep going.
Verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world.
Say it again.
For we brought nothing into this world.
We didn't bring a damn thing into this world. What people are killing over and what people want and people desire and what people are depressed about and upset about and dying and willing to kill themselves and murder about, we didn't bring it into this world. And guess what else? Go ahead.
And it is certain we can carry nothing out.
And we ain't leaving with either. You understand? So what's the worry about? What's the anxiety about? You understand? What's the hatred about? What's the uneasiness about? Well, we didn't bring nothing in here. We ain't leaving with it. You understand? If I die tomorrow, what the hell do I care about a Con Edison bill?
Right.
They took a loss. You know what I'm saying? Right. They better write that shit off. Excuse my language. They better write that off. You know what I'm saying? It's a done deal. You know what I'm saying? So what am I worried about? You know what I'm saying? Worried about that? What am I worried about that for? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to worry about. You understand? Be content in all your situations. You didn't bring nothing here, and you ain't taking it with you either.
Right.
But what you will take with you is your spirit. You understand? Your spirit you're going to take with you. And what you going to do with your spirit? I don't give a damn about your credit score. What about your spiritual credit score? What about that? Fix that. Because that's what counts.
Right.
That's what counts after this body that we so unsatisfied with. After that body wither away, your spirit is what's next. And what you going to do with that? You understand? Learn how to be content within the frame that the Lord put your spirit in. Learn how to be content within that. With that frame, and with everything that comes along with surrounding this thing, bills and pain and pleasure and so forth and so on. Learn to be content with it, right? Let's keep going.
Verse 8, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
Now, let's read it. Let's read it. Hey, Shalom, brother. Let's read it. Let's read it one more time. That's nice, brother. Let's read it again.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Like a content.
With food and raiment, let us be content with that. You got food, you got clothes, man, be happy, man. Be content with that.
Right.
You don't walk past nobody sleep on a cardboard box.
That's right.
Right.
You don't be walking down the street and it's freezing cold and somebody's sleeping outside. They done got a makeshift cardboard box little house that they sleeping in with them and they woman.
Right.
You don't walk past that. You don't walk and it's cold. You going inside to get you a Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Ain't nobody opening that door for you standing outside, opening the door looking for some quarters or a little bit of change. You understand? Be content with what you got, man. Be content. You know what I'm saying? Be content. If it's hot dogs and beans at night, then nigga, that's what it is.
Right.
Be happy with that, man. Because somebody's not eating. Somebody's at the border right now getting raped. Somebody's in Ward's Island. And for those who are not from New York City, Ward's Island is one of the most wickedest men's shelters out here. Men getting raped in there. You understand? Brother, somebody's going through a lot worse.
Right.
You got food and clothes, you should be pretty happy. It's cold outside. You in New York and Chicago and all these places where it's freezing, nigga, you should be happy you got a coat. You should be happy you got a coat. People walking out here with plastic bags wrapped around, garbage bags.
Right.
Garbage bags wrapped around. You understand what I'm saying? We got to be content in our situations. Go ahead.
Verse 9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and ensnare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which draw men in destruction and perdition.
Now, you see that line? What do you think that line means? What's somebody tell me? What do they think that means? What do they think that means?
Away from the door.
What does that mean right there? It says, I'm gonna read it for y'all. It says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drag men in destruction and perdition. You understand? This is talking about, of course, somebody being rich, wealthy, powerful, whatever the case may be. You understand? When you rich, go ahead.
What's the last line?
What's the last line?
Which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Right, what's perdition? What does the word perdition mean? Y'all gonna have to look it on up. What does the word perdition mean? Son of perdition be revealed. What does that mean? Go ahead.
Perdition, a state of eternal punishment and damnation into which a sinful and impenitent person passes after death.
Right. Perdition is a person of sin. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A person of sin. That's what perdition is. Right? So what does that mean? That means, let's see what this, let's read it again. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. Now, what do rich people fall into temptations? Of course they do. Bill Cosby did, didn't he?
Right.
R. Kelly did, right? You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty of more rich people. I'm just naming the Jakes. There's plenty of more rich people that fell into temptations.
Right.
and fell into snares. A snare is a trap. They fall into temptations, and then they fall into the trap. Did not Bill Cosby fall into his temptation, and now he's trapped? That nigga 80,000 years old, sitting up in the prison somewhere, trying to crack as many jokes as he can. But somebody crack his ass. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to tell as many jokes as possible. You know what I'm saying? He's doing Fat Albert jokes and everything else up in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure. Understand? R. Kelly's in there. I'm sure he's in there probably writing brothers love letters to send home to their wife or something. Trying to keep brothers off of them, man. Hoping they won't step in the name of love. You know what I'm saying? I'm just messing, man. I'm just joking. Just joking. Little Hebrew humor. You know what I'm saying? Just joking, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you know, these brothers fall into temptations. Right. And they fall into traps, right? Keep reading. I'm going to keep reading. And into many foolish and hurtful lusts. You know what I'm saying? The temptations are foolish and hurtful lusts. You know what I'm saying? And these foolish and hurtful lusts have drowned men in destruction. They've drowned in destruction. What's the drown? You drown, that means nigga, you dead. You know what I'm saying? You could not get out of it. You couldn't get out of it, and it killed you. You understand what I'm saying? And it killed you. That's what that scripture means. Now in the scriptures, this verse 9 is for a brother who was not content. That's an example of not being content. You understand? Of falling to temptation, falling and getting caught in a trap. You know what I'm saying? And then all for your foolish and hurtful lust. That sounds like a drug dealer. That sounds like a pimp. That sounds like a stripper. That sounds like these things that we go through. You understand what I'm saying? Someone who's not content in their situation. Someone who was so worried about their situation that they decided to move and go in the direction of sinning. You understand what I'm saying? And that can hurt us. Let's go to 2 Samuel real quick. Hold on. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 11. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 11. We're going to show you what that means. A rich man, rich person, who can fall into temptation and get trapped in a temptation all over his foolish and lustful wants. You understand? And how it can drown him. You understand? How it can mark him. If it didn't mark him, we wouldn't be talking about it 1,000 years later. You understand? Let's go to 2 Samuel and go to chapter 11, and we're going to start at verse 2. Let's rock.
2 Samuel 11, verse 2. Or habit.
Let's rock.
And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Yeah, now David was looking at this beautiful woman. She looked good. He rose up. You know what I'm saying? Rose up the bed in the morning time. You know?
Right.
And if you're a man, when you rise up in the morning time, you rise up in the morning time. You know what I mean? Let's keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And David sat and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
Yeah, he said, damn, isn't that Uriah's wife? Right? Go ahead.
And we'll come verse 4. And David sent messengers and took her and came in unto him. And he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house.
Go ahead now. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And a woman conceived and said and told David and said, I am with child.
So hold on. Let's go into verse 4 real quick. So he laid with her. He seen this woman. She looked good. He called for her. He had sex with her.
Right.
You understand? That's a rich man that fell into that temptation, that fell into that foolish lust.
Right.
You understand? That eventually drowned him. This is a rich man who slept with another man's woman.
Right.
Why? Because he wasn't content in his own situation.
Right.
He had plenty. He had wives he could sleep with.
Right.
He could have any other single woman he wanted, but he slept with this brother's rib. You understand? These are the actions that take place when you're not content.
Right.
You understand? In your situation. What I mean by content. When you're not, we go to the other one of the other meanings of content. When you're not satisfied.
Right.
When you want to get greedy. And you want more when you don't need more.
Right.
You understand? You want some more women. You want more sex. And you're willing to go and have sex with another man's woman. You're willing to go in against them. You're willing to go against the Most High God for your own foolish and hurtful lusts.
Right.
Which eventually will drown you.
Right.
But you're not even thinking about being drowned. You're thinking about satisfying your pleasures. You understand what I'm saying? You're thinking about satisfying your own pleasures. Just like King David. And this is King David. This is King. Do me a favor. Somebody fix that back there real quick. Close that.
Come on.
No, I have one of you can just close it for me, brother, please. I'm just the water, brother. You understand? He wanted to fulfill his lust. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because he wasn't satisfied with what he had. He wanted more, and in him wanting more, he was willing to backstab his brother.
Right.
He was willing to backstab your brother. If you're willing to backstab your brother, you're willing to turn on the Most High God. You understand? Now, what example was David setting for other brothers? You know what I'm saying? If we read further down in the story, he sent one of his captains to send this brother, the husband to the sister, out into the battlefield to die. Y'all familiar with the story, correct? To go ahead and have him kill him. Now, what examples he setting for the man that's under him? What examples he set? He said, "Well, nigga, if you want to have a woman, have the husband killed." Right? That's the example that David is setting. Why? Because he wasn't content with his own situation. He wasn't satisfied.
Right.
In this context, he wasn't satisfied with his situation. Right? That's why we have to watch what we do. You understand? Watch what we do. We shouldn't be sleeping with other brothers' wives.
Right.
We shouldn't be trying to chase our foolish lust. You understand? We shouldn't be trying to do that. Why? Because we can drown in them. And if we drown in them, then guess what? We've already told other brothers and sisters that you can go ahead and do that. And guess what? What they're going to do? What are they going to do now? What are they going to do now? They're going to drown too. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to drown too. Keep reading.
But I want to come to
Read a
verse
little more
5.
of the story.
Verse 5. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. Verse 6. And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. Verse 7. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. And David said to Uriah,
this is what David said to Uriah. Go ahead.
go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house. And there followed him a mess of meat from the king.
He told Uriah, go home, man. Go wash your feet, relax, and all of that. Now, Uriah wasn't around his rib the whole time because he was out to war.
Right.
So when he got home, after being away from his rib for a long time, what's going to happen?
Right.
What they going to do? They're going to play checkers, a Scrabble. They're going to play Scrabble, right? Now, they're going to play Scrabble, all right. You know what I'm saying? You understand? They're going to have sexual intercourse.
Right.
That's what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, correct? You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna have some sex. I ain't seen it in a long time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So assume the position, let me tie a fight. Let me stop. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So look, this is what they're gonna do. But I'm not gonna read further on the story. Unfortunately, it did not work out. Uriah was too much of a soldier for that. He refused to go down.
Right.
He refused to go home while his brothers were still out in the field. Uriah refused to go home. You understand?
Right.
He refused to go home. He couldn't even pull an okie doke on Uriah, and Uriah didn't even know the okie doke was trying to be pulled on him. Because he was too much of a soldier,
right?
Too much of a brother. He was too content. You understand? Uriah was content with being with his brothers, with fighting and standing for the cause. You understand? He was right. Uriah was righteous. You know, he was absolutely righteous. You know what I'm saying? In the world, it might seem like, man, he went like a sucker. He went out bad. Uriah went out righteously, man. You know what I'm saying? That brother Uriah stood with his brothers. He refused to go get a back rub. You understand? He refused to go get a back rub and all whatever other sexual favors was going on with him and his rib. That's between them, of course. You know what I'm saying? He refused to go home and get it. Who refused to go home and get that? Right? Uriah. Right? He refused to go home and get that done.
Right.
Right? So I'm bringing up the story to say what? David is an example in this context. He's an example of someone who, as we just read in the previous scriptures, who was rich, who was full of lust, foolish lust, and hurtful lust. His lust got somebody killed. Uriah died.
Right.
David's lust got his own son killed. Right. But if David was just content with his situation, if he just was content, and his hurtful, foolish lust didn't allow him to be unsatisfied and want more, then his son, he would have had a son probably with another woman. Right. Uriah would not be dead. He wouldn't have made a whore out of Bathsheba. You understand what I'm saying? Wouldn't have made a whore out of her. The whole scenario would have been made differently and he still would have been King David if he controlled himself. Right? That's also what being content means, to control yourself, control your actions, and for sisters, control your goddamn mouth.
Right.
That's being content. Control your mouth, because that's what gets you in trouble. Control your mouth, because there's I know sisters out there in the world that run their mouth, and as soon as somebody punch them in the face, they call the police. Not brothers, listen to me. I'm not saying go do that. No, do not do that.
Right.
Do not do that. My advice is a whole lot different. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of all that yelling and screaming, they hear a door close. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I go to them. I'll move on to a whole other household. You know what I'm saying? That's my advice. That's just my advice. You know what I'm saying? Go to another household. Right. So it's peaceful. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Don't go and do that. But David's situation would be a whole lot different if he was content with his situation. You understand? So I wanted to bring up this David story to show how this is how a rich man cannot be content in a situation, how hurtful and foolish lust can allow a brother to drown. You know what I'm saying? In his situation, David didn't drown, but his son got killed. Uriah got killed. Bathsheba was made a whore. You understand? She slept behind her husband's back. You understand? This is what this scripture means. Go to Proverbs real quick. Proverbs. Y'all can read that story of David and Uriah and Bathsheba. Read it on your own. It's a good story to read. I'm saying very educational. A lot better than whatever they're teaching your kids in global studies in school.
Right.
And all that filth and garbage. whatever that is. All right, we almost cracking down on the time. We got a little bit of time. We're gonna go to Proverbs, chapter 1, and we're gonna go to verse 10. All right.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10. Or my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not.
If sinners entice you, consent not. Means don't go with it. Don't follow it. If a sinner can entice you, then you're not content in your situation. What's up, brother? Huh? No, it's okay. What say, brother? Say it again. Sure you can. Ask your mom, all right? Go ahead, sis. Tell them where you at.
So Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10 says. Just let us know when you get there, all right? You did? Okay, that's right. All right. Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not.
Don't consent to sinners. You know what I'm saying? Don't do what they do. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they're not content in what they do. Now y'all read further in that David story. I'm telling you, it's a very good story. You're gonna read to where I believe it was Samuel. If I'm not mistaken, it was Samuel. Maybe mistaken, but a prophet came and talked to David and gave him a rundown, like, hey, gave him a little story, like, what if this happened, this happened, this happened? David said, shit, that wouldn't be no good. He said, well, the person I'm talking about is you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Read further down the story. I'm paraphrasing, of course. It was a great story. You know, it's an absolutely great story and something that is worth reading. You understand what I'm saying? But don't let sinners entice you. The only way you can be enticed is if you're not content in your situation. You understand? If you're not in a situation to where you're worried. When mama's lights go off and you start some of the cocaine, you're worried. You understand? You're worried about it. Brothers go out and rob because they're worried. They need this money. You understand? When you're a drug addict, you worry. Where can I get my next bump? I need one more bump. I need one more bump. You get worried. You're worried about never having that bump again or getting that bump when you want it. So you go out and sin. You got to do some things and rob and steal on the low kill. You know what I'm saying? Just to get what you want, or be willing to kill just to get what you want. You understand? These type of people, we can't consent to that. We can't agree to that. You understand? Don't agree to it. Keep going.
Verse 11. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Read that verse and what does that verse mean? I got 3 brothers from Brooklyn in here. You got to know what that means. What does that mean? Read that scripture. Read that verse again.
Verse 11. If they say, come with us, let us wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause.
Let us lurk privately and wait for the innocent without a cause. What does that mean? Go ahead.
Sounds like they trying to bust a lick.
They trying to rob, yeah. They trying to rob. They trying to get a lick. You know what I'm saying? They trying to rob somebody. This is going down. Go ahead.
We will usually set someone up.
They're trying to line them up. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to line them up. They're trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? See, this is all in the scriptures, y'all.
Right.
This is a robbery. This is robbery right here. This is whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is sitting back like, yo, we're gonna go ahead and clap these cats. Whatever. This is the so-called lifestyle that brothers rap about and whatever. It's right here in these scriptures. And it all comes from not being content in their situation. From not having trust in the most. That's why this truth is so important. Imagine if these brothers came into the truth in 1969. Came into it in 1969. It'd be a whole new breed of brothers. No brothers would lay and wait privately to rob you or to hurt you. It wouldn't do it. Why? Because we would know it's against our heritage to do some things like this.
Right.
You understand? You understand? That's why it's important right now for us to practice being content in these situations. Why? So we can stop brothers from doing exactly what we're reading right now. To stop them and sisters do. Sisters rob too. Sisters set brothers up all the time and rob too. Heavy. You know that. Just as much as a man running down on you with a gun to rob you, sisters will set you up. I'll be right back, go to the bathroom, and all of that, leave the door unlocked and all that. Somebody gonna run in there and strip you butt naked, have you looking foolish. Keep reading.
Verse 12. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave.
That's what they say. Let's wait for them privately. Let's get them. And when we get them, let's swallow them alive at the grave. Go ahead.
And whole. As those that go down into the pit.
Yeah, we're gonna get them. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead and kill them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With no problems, no hesitation, no worries. This comes from a person that's not content. This comes from a person that wants more, a greedy person. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 13. We shall find all precious substance, and we shall fill our houses with spoil.
Yeah, we're gonna take everything they got and we're gonna fill our houses with it. You understand? Now these are actions that we face in the neighborhood every single day. Why? Because there's brothers and sisters that the society has put into situations to where it's hard for them to be content. If you know somebody, right, and they get up, they try to go to work, they try their best to take care of their family, they're trying their best to be in their kids' life, they're trying their best to stand up and make things happen correctly. You should applaud that person. You should applaud that man and applaud that woman, because they can be easily doing something that is all the way wicked.
Right.
They can be easily doing something that's all the way wicked. And guess what? You know how confused and messed up we are? We will still condemn them. If they're doing something wicked, we condemn it. See, that's why you ain't no good, because you have to doing that. If a brother's trying not to do that, we still condemn him. You know what I'm saying? But the scriptures say this: there's brothers and sisters that they lay out there and wait and try to harm people and do things to people. You understand what I'm saying? They're trying to harm people and do things to people. And I don't blame them. I blame this wicked society. And I also blame this Christian church.
Right.
For not teaching our brothers and sisters to be content in their situations, not to worry about it, but instead of going out there to rob and steal and kill, lean on your brother. I was just in a situation myself. I didn't go and rob and steal. I leaned on my brothers. I said, look,
right.
This is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And brothers came through for me. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna lean on my brothers. I'm not going to conform to the ways of this world and say, you know what? I got too much pride. I ain't gonna ask them. They're gonna look at me funny. They can look at me funny then. Because I'm not gonna go ahead and rob and steal and kill. I might rob you then, if that's the case. Right? Could go ahead and do something stupid then. Why do that when I can just ask you for your help?
Right.
I can just ask and just be a brother. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we're missing out here in this world. I'm content with being a brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm content with that. And that's how we have to be. We have to be content with that. Not worry about what somebody's thinking or what they're going to say and this and other. We have to be unworried, unwavered, unmoved in our brotherhood, in our sisterhood.
Right.
You understand? What we're reading right now is about a person who is not grounded in his brotherhood, who does worry, who is easily wavering, who is discombobulated and distracted. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 14. Cast in thy lot among us, let us all have one purse.
Yeah, let's all be on one accord. Go ahead.
Verse 15, my son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path.
You understand? You gotta be very careful with those who are not content. You know what I'm saying? Be very careful with those who are not content and willing to go out there and cause people harm and cause evil and cause pain. Keep reading.
And we'll come verse 16. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood.
Because that's what they do. When you're not content in your situation, you're gonna go and you're going to shed blood. Who does that? The oppressor does that, because the oppressor is never satisfied. He's greedy.
Right.
And he runs out to shed blood. He runs out to hurt and cause pain and cause sorrow amongst people, because that's in his nature. That's not in our nature to do that. But the things that we've been through in life and how society has played us out has made us feel like it's normal for us to be bitches and assholes. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? It made it a common thing to be that.
Right.
But that's not our nature, man. That is not our nature.
Right.
You understand? But society has done a good job with doing that. Do you know back in slavery times, back in slavery, they're picking cotton. Do you know the divorce rate was lower then than it is now? In slavery. In slavery.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Slavery. To where you can just, you're poor.
Right.
You're eating slop and being beaten and emasculated and all types of things. But the marriage, the bond was strong.
Right.
Not just with marriage,
Right.
but with brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? The brotherhood was strong then. You know why? Because we knew who the enemy was.
That's right.
We knew exactly who that enemy was back then. And we lose focus of that right now. You know, I got my own place, right? I got my own place. And I'm a man. With my rib, I would never kick my rib out my house, because I know who the enemy is.
Right.
If I did that, I don't know what might happen. I may be mad, might be upset, but I don't know what might happen. So I ain't kicking her out. You understand? Because I know who my enemy is. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm no different. If me kicking them out and hating them and being spiteful to them, I'm no different from these scriptures we're reading right now.
Right.
About haste to shed their blood and so forth and so on. Because that's what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? That's the contentment goes a long way. Contentment goes into our brotherhood and our sisterhood consists of friendships, and it consists of marriages. It consists of these things, man.
Right.
It's all encompassed in one. You understand? We have an enemy that we have an enemy, y'all. You know that, right? We got an enemy.
Right.
I can't give my loved one over to the hands of the enemy because I'm mad. You understand?
Right.
I can't do that. I just was talking to a female, and I was talking to her, and she was willing to just cut everything off because she was mad. I said, damn, you willing to take it there because you upset? You're not willing to sit there and talk about it and figure this thing out? You're willing now this is just a friend of mine. This is a friend of mine who, she claimed to be interested, whatever the case may be. But you're willing to just throw everything away because you upset, because you mad? Well, I don't need no weak bitch like that. Excuse my language. I don't need nobody that weak. You understand? You're willing to just go ahead and just, I'm not dealing with none of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Come on.
We don't deal with that.
Right.
That means if I was to fall for my lust or fall for how I feel physically, that I would be with her. You know what she gonna say? What she gonna tell me to do? As soon as she get mad, what she gonna say? What she gonna say? Get out! Get out! Get out of my house! And do that. See, I don't play that.
Right.
I don't play that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't deal with that garbage. You understand? I don't need no weak bro. You understand? And she's not content with herself. You understand? She's not content with herself and her situation. You understand? But there's some brothers that's not content with their situations either. And they got to fix their situations. You understand? But with that attitude, we're taking on this same persona. With what quick to shed blood. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not content. Let's keep reading.
Verse 17. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird.
That net is thrown out in front of any bird, but it's in vain, which it means nothing. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And they wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives.
Yeah. When you go out to hurt other people and do all of that, all you do in the long run is just hurting yourself.
Right.
That's all you're doing. You're really just hurting yourself. You're really destroying yourself. You understand? That's what you're doing. That's why we have to maintain this thing called contentment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have to maintain that and keep that and hold strong to that. I'm going to one more story real quick before we go. Go to Matthew chapter 8, verse 24. I might go to one more. I might go to two more. Hold on. You never know. Which one was it? Matthew?
Come on, sir.
Hold on real quick here. I'm going to two more. This is just one. Go to Matthew 8 and start at verse Matthew 8 and start at verse 20.
Matthew chapter 8, verse 24.
No, Salakia. Let's go to 22 real quick to get a backdrop.
Come on. Matthew chapter 8, verse 22. Or I'll give it out. But Jesus said unto him, follow me, and let the dead bury their dead.
So one of the disciples came to Christ and said, look, such as died, I want to bury them. He said, look, forget all of that. Let the dead bury the dead. All right? Christ is hardcore. He was on soft. Let the dead bury the dead. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 23. And when he was entered into a ship.
Into a what?
Ship.
So they got onto a ship. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
His disciples followed him.
So Christ went and got on this ship. I don't know where they're going, but he went and got on this ship. His disciples followed them onto this ship. All right? So they followed Christ. So they followed him onto this ship. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And behold,
which means watch. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
There arose a great tempest in the sea.
There was a great tempest in the sea, which means the seas was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? The sea was going wild. The sea, a storm.
Right.
A storm came. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And so much that the ship was covered.
It was what?
Covered.
It was what?
Covered with the waves.
The ship was covered with the waves. Now, if it's covered with the waves, that means water is getting on these ships.
Right.
Now, if too much water getting that ship, you know what's going to happen. It's going down. You know what I'm saying? Water. Just imagine you in the ocean. You ever been in the ocean? You been in the ocean before? You been in the ocean? Never been in the ocean? All right, check it. You in the ocean. Once that water and shit, I've been in the ocean, not during a storm though. But I've been in the ocean. Now that water start rocking and the waves and stuff, all that stuff, you look at your window like, ooh, it's bad outside. Imagine being in the water. That means the water is and everything's rocking and rolling and waves is gushing and all of that. That stuff, that stuff you put on when you go to sleep, like you put on some ocean sand and go to sleep. Right. That is rocking and waving and rolling, and the ship's going up and down, and you looking like, man, one good wave and we going down.
Right.
This is what's going on in this story. Keep reading.
But he was asleep.
Wait. Hold on. Who said it? But what?
But he was asleep.
Who's he? But he was asleep. Who is he?
Yahushua Christ.
Yahushua. Sorry about this. I was going to give it to you, but Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Don't worry about it. Yahushua, he's sleeping. While the storm is going on and the boat is rocking and waving and all of that, he's asleep. What is going on? Keep reading.
We'll come verse 25. And his disciples came to him and awoke him.
The disciples who followed Christ came and woke him up. Hey, Christ, Yahushua, woke him up. You know what I'm saying? And when they woke him up, what they say?
Say, Lord, save us.
Say what?
Lord, save us.
Do what?
Save us.
Go ahead.
We perish.
We're going to die. You know what I'm saying? Wake up. We're about to die. Do you see these waves going on? This is what they said to Christ, the greatest black man to walk on earth.
That's right.
The person that we should follow after. The example we should live by. They woke him up in the middle of the storm where the waves was overtaking the boat.
Right.
You understand? Where the sea could easily just swallow them up and kill them. They wake Christ up. Read.
Okay, verse 26. And he said unto them, why are you fearful?
Why are you scared? Go ahead.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, worriers. Oh, those not of trust.
Right.
Those who don't have no contentment in them. You understand? Scary. Cowards.
Right.
These are the words. You understand? Go ahead.
Okay. Then he arose.
Go ahead.
And rebuked the winds in the sea.
And did what?
Rebuked the winds in the sea.
Christ got up and just rebuked the winds of the sea. You know what I'm saying? And what happened?
And there was a great calm.
And it was a what?
Great calm.
A what?
Great calm.
And it was a great calm after he did that. Now, we should follow Yahushua, a black man by the name of Jesus Christ. There was a storm going on where the ship was being overtaken by waves in the middle of this storm. He was sleeping.
Right.
Getting rest. Why was he sleeping in the middle of that storm? This is a question. Why was Christ sleeping in the middle of that storm? Why? What would give him the comfort of sleeping in the middle of a storm?
Have faith in the Most High.
Get it, brother. Hey,
Right.
the Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? He had faith in the Most High. So when his disciples saw how calm he handled the storm, saw how content he was in the middle of that storm, what would that make his disciples in turn do?
Like to have more faith.
Have more faith.
Right.
Be content in the storm. Black man, woman, and child, you are to be content in your storm. You are to be content in your fight. Right. And you're supposed to trust in the Lord. I don't care what situation it is you're going through. Whatever situation is making you angry, making you upset, whether you're going through child support, warrants, whether you're going through baby mama drama, baby daddy drama, whatever the case may be, whatever you're going through, whatever your fire is, whatever your fiery furnace is, whatever your storm is, you are to remain content and to trust in the Most High God. Why? Because it's not just for you; it's for these little ones out here.
Right.
It's for the ones that's looking at us. It's for the ones that's doubting us. You understand? It's for everybody else. It's for everybody else to see how you are content in the middle of your storm.
Right.
How you're content in the middle of your fire that's been turned up extra for you to burn. It's how you're content in the middle of that. You understand? How you're unmoved, how you're not worried, how you trust. You have to maintain your poker face. Not just your face, but you got to maintain a good poker attitude for the person that's watching you play the game. So they can do the same goddamn thing. You owe it to your children. You owe it to your brothers. You owe it to your sisters. You owe it to the Most High God of Christ. You understand that? You owe it to them. Stay content, stay strong, stay diligent. You understand? With that, Pastor Class will appreciate all.
Clap it up for the class.
An android rebellion leads to the extinction of human life.
We've got to get to Boston before I give birth.
I would die for you, my baby.
My son, I'm going to give you the only thing that I have left, a chance.
Hey, focus up, America.
Today, one of us will be the moderator in a focus group, and the other will be participating in that same group.
Now, the participant must read all the answers on his survey. The thing is, his completely embarrassing answers have been written by the moderator.
If you can't read every answer in its entirety, you lose. Shh. Q's really focused.
Remember, the dress code today was Steven Seagal, so good job.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Focus Suites.
Look at this guy.